Hi everyone, my name is Olga Cardamon and I'm the founder and CEO of Eagle Travel Tours to Russia. One question that I often get is whether all of the museums in St. Petersburg are possible to see on your own without a tour guide. And I have to say that of all of the museums, if you have to pick just one day to see something with a tour guide, then those would be the suburban residences of the Russian Tsars. And the reason for that is that those palaces are located outside of the city. They might be sometimes hard to get to. So I highly recommend going there with a tour guide. But if you are really adventurous and if you want to try to see those palaces all by yourself, then today I'm going to tell you about the best ways to do that. And I have to start by telling you that there are two most important suburban palaces of the Russian royal family. One is called Peterhof and the other one is called Catherine's Palace. And each of them is famous for one part. Peterhof is famous for its beautiful park with amazing gilded fountains, and Catherine's Palace estate is famous for the palace part. Anyway, if you want to go to Peterhof, then the best way to do that would be by taking the hydrofoil. The hydrofoils are high-speed boats and they leave from the center of St. Petersburg right by the Hermitage Museum. You can find a hydrofoil station on the shore of the Neva River, basically right outside the walls of the Winter Palace. It's pretty easy to get a ticket there and it takes about half an hour by boat to get to Peterhof. Once you get there, I highly recommend spending most of your time exploring the park. You can see some amazing fountains there, such as, for example, the Grand Cascade Fountain, which is the main fountain of Peterhof, and it gives you a great view on the Grand Palace. I also really like the chessboard fountain and the Roman fountains. They are amazing. Definitely try not to miss the so-called trick fountains, especially if you are in Peterhof on a hot summer day. You will easily recognize those because they are surrounded by children who are running around and trying to get splashed with water. The idea of trick fountains is that when you get close to them, all of a sudden you get splashed with water. And actually that is the reason why you see a lot of locals in Peterhof. On a hot summer day, they actually come there with their kids so their kids can have some fun in the water. You can also visit the Grand Palace of Peterhof, and you can get your tickets beforehand on the museum's website, or you can stand in line and wait to buy your tickets. However, in Peterhof, I highly recommend opting out for little private pavilions that belonged to different members of the royal family. First of all, you don't have to stand in line to get tickets to go there. Second of all, they are just really unique and worth seeing. For example, you can see the so-called Montplaisir, which was the private palace that belonged to Peter the Great. And you can see rooms there such as his bedroom, his office, and his dining room, even his bathroom. You can also see his private art gallery. There is also a private home of Catherine the Great there in Peterhof, and some other pavilions that were used by many members of the royal family for purposes such as dining. For example, you can see the Hermitage Pavilion there, or receiving guests like the Marly Pavilion. Anyway, those are really beautiful and I highly recommend spending time there. You can end up spending your whole day in Peterhof just exploring different parts of the estate. Or you can head to Catherine's Palace. And if you are going there by yourself, I highly recommend getting an Uber there. Uber works well in Russia. And you can get to Catherine's Palace by Uber, but definitely make sure that you buy your tickets beforehand, because otherwise you're going to spend your whole day at Catherine's Palace standing in line. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why I do recommend seeing Catherine's Palace with a guide. Anyway, in Catherine's Palace, there are some highlights that you definitely shouldn't miss. First, it is the Grand Ballroom. You will easily recognize it because it has a lot of gold and really large windows. The design of that room was inspired by the Hall of Mirrors in Versailles. Those of you who have been to Versailles will definitely recognize it. You will also see some beautiful dining rooms decorated with silk. That was mostly the design of the time of Catherine the Great's rule. And finally, the most important room of Catherine's palace, you might have heard of it, it's called the Amber Room. You will also easily recognize the Amber Room because the walls in the Amber Room are decorated with real amber. And that was actually recreated in 2003 because the Amber Room is surrounded with mystery. It disappeared from the palace during World War II, and nobody knows, even to this day, where the original amber panels that covered the walls then, where they are now. Nobody knows. Anyway, when you're done with the palace, you can also spend some time in the Estates Park. And the park there is really different than the park in Peterhof. There are no gorgeous fountains. Instead, you can see beautiful ponds, manicured trees, and little pavilions that are scattered all around the park. The one that I really recommend sticking your head into is called the Grotto Pavilion. And most of the time inside the Grotto Pavilion, you can actually listen to a real a cappella choir. They perform approximately every 15 minutes. They're trying to sell their CDs, so they will sing for you for free, and you actually don't have to buy the CDs in the end. And they sing so beautifully. Every time they sing a different traditional Russian song, they do it completely a cappella, and the acoustics in the Grotto Pavilion are what really makes their singing even better. Anyway, that would be a full day's itinerary dedicated to the summer residences of the Russian royal family. I hope this video was helpful, and you're absolutely welcome to leave your questions about those palaces in the comment section. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned. Subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.